Hideo Kojima's final Metal Gear Solid game is the most polarizing entry into the series yet. On one hand, its evolved gameplay mechanics has made it the most polished action game I've played, while its storyline lacks the appeal that made the series so memorable in the first place. It's not perfect, but it's certainly Kojima's finest work. Snake, or Venom Snake as he's known here, has been in a coma for 9 years. His base, reputation, and everything he sought to achieve as a private military organization has crumbled. Left for dead and barely surviving, Snake wakes up with one goal in mind: revenge. As far as I know, this is probably the only Metal Gear Solid game where the objective isn't necessarily to destroy a new Metal Gear or to stop a nuclear attack, but to actually take back what was stolen from you. Pain for pain, as the trailer says. This is where the Phantom Pain's premise shines the most, as throughout the game you begin to question your morals and if your actions are for the greater good or you want to just take over the world. Players who have not played the previous Metal Gear Solid games, primarily 3, Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes, might have some trouble trying to make sense of the whole story, but even then the Phantom Pain does a good job of letting newcomers catch up and know what's going on. Despite its amazing premise, the Phantom Pain just doesn't really live up to what I'd hoped for in terms of MGS narrative. A lot of the scenes or story elements feel fragmented and put apart in order to fill gaps and expand the game's length. Missions tend to feel recycled, such as extracting soldiers or killing a target. At certain points in Chapter 2, players will even be tasked to repeat a mission you've done before on a harder difficulty. I'm not sure how that counts as story progression, and to be frank, it just kills the pacing. Pacing is an element that used to feel just right in every MGS game, sort of like a movie. But here it feels less so. Its ending, which I will not spoil, also feels incomplete, which again adds to the frustration that the story isn't over. While its narrative may not have been the highlight I expected, the Phantom Pain manages to more than make up for it with its open world stealth gameplay elements. Kojima and his team have managed to perfect Metal Gear Solid's control scheme to an unprecedented level. Aiming, managing items with the D-pad, and even telling your horse to poop just feels perfect. Outside the controls, the places you visit here all feel alive. Time of day will affect your enemy's vision. Raindrops cover your footsteps when sneaking. There's just so much detail that would take an entire video on its own just to explain them. Managing your home base or mother base is another element players need to take into account while playing the Phantom Pain. Players who've played Peace Walker before will feel right at home and welcome the slight new changes. For newcomers, it essentially goes like this. During your playtime, you will occasionally have to stun guards and send them back to your base. Doing so will allow them to be brainwashed and recruited under your army. Depending on your skill level, you will be able to assign them to different departments such as R&D, combat, medical, and facility. Expanding each one will unlock more upgrades and make your foes stronger. It is essential you do this, as certain missions require specific gears or equipment, and without them, you will face a lot of difficulty. During my preview event back in May, I found this to be a bit cumbersome, as I would occasionally need to stop and micromanage everything. Playing at home at my own leisure, I found the experience to be more thrilling, as I didn't feel the pressure or need to finish everything quickly. I also had the privilege of playing it online this time, so I got to experience the FOB instances where actual players invade your mother base to steal resources. It's a nice concept and tend to keep you on your toes every time you're playing. Not only will you be able to choose the style of weapon and gears, but you will also have the ability to bring a buddy along. These buddies include D-Horse, DD, your personal wolf, Quiet, a deadly sniper, and D-Walker, a mechanical robot that can transform into a scooter. Out of all of them, I easily found D-Walker to be the best, as you're able to equip it with various weapons while being able to travel long distances quicker. The Phantom Pain is an audio and visual masterpiece. The game is oozing with style with its incredible cutscenes, soundtrack, and epic cinematic moments. Its opening sequence is simply one of the best I ever experienced in a video game, and a shining example of what the Fox engine can do. The fact it's able to run at full HD at 60 FPS on a PS4 also proves how optimized this engine can get. The PC version also adds some extra nifty things such as volumetric clouds and a customizable soundtrack. It's also worth noting that in some instances the PS4 version may suffer some slowdowns, which the PC version has eliminated. However, both tend to suffer from occasional distance pop-ups. Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain did not give me the satisfying conclusion I was hoping for. A lot of times I felt that I was going through the motions as I constantly went on mission after mission. Eventually though, it got to me and I slowly accepted it for what it is, a brilliant open world action game. It may not be the best Metal Gear Solid game, but it's definitely the best action game I've played to date, and that has to count for something.